What if I told you that anime was better in the past? Or do you believe that the anime industry is producing at the same level it has historically been for nearly the last 30 years? Now I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I truthfully believe both of these seemingly different ideas can be true, though that there is a number of factors on why that is so, and these things are outside the control of what is currently on the air. I'm going to explain these 2 points, as I do think that by calling this out, it can help some viewers figure out why they feel the way they do, and hopefully find enjoyment in it once again. I'm also not defending the anime industry either, as there are a lot of issues I have with studio abuse of staff that needs to continue to improve, and the rush of titles to air when they definitely need more time to refine. I'm just saying, as a medium that is looked at as disposable by the majority of the ones producing the content, we are still getting the same rate of hits and misses each year. Though let's begin where a number of millennials like myself began, the late 90s. Anime had started to make some headway into breaking into the US market during the 80s and 90s, though it was still a very niche product. If you were lucky enough to have a section dedicated to it in your local video store, it most likely was labeled as Japanimation. Though, kind of like how a mouse helped put Western animation on the map with Disney, an electric one would see the tipping point to change mainstream views on anime in the US. Obviously, I'm speaking of the juggernaut that is Pokemon, but in its most early anime days here, it wasn't even part of any animation block or channel. It was syndicated. Some affiliates refused to air it as it had become known as that cartoon that gave kids seizures in Japan, though even that couldn't help what now seems inevitable. Along with Pokemon, another anime of note was starting to gain traction as in 1998, Dragon Ball Z was added to the then growing Toonami block on Cartoon Network. Now this period of time in the West is where I can say we were getting a high rate of good anime brought to us through cable and the VHS DVD markets. Shows like DBZ, Cowboy Bebop, Evangelion, Initial D, and more were starting to be released over here. Now these are all amazing, and to come out all around the same time over here is missing a big fact. We were playing catch up, as we were getting cherry-picked anime that would even be considered classics like Lupin III. Even Dragon Ball Z had just ended their run when it was picked up for syndication in the US at the end of 1996. This is a quick list of Toonami and Adult Swim anime titles that premiered in the year 2001 through 2002. And next to it is the year of their Japanese premiere. The majority of them were all over a few years old by the time they were added. What I'm trying to say on this point was we were getting a lot of great stuff, but it is much easier to do so while you're pulling from a much bigger selection pool. Even then though, we were still getting critical failures as well. Some just because they had a name they thought would be popular. During this time in Japan, they were still having good years and bad ones for hits. A lot of people's views on anime changed as we got closer to a simulcast era though. Once we experienced the industry as it is, and not getting picks from the cream of the crop, we could actually look at it closer to understanding it better. Yes, every once in a while you are going to get something that is genre defining and change the game, but you're also going to get stuff to fill a time slot as well. We were doing very well in those early days, but it was a bubble and the backlog wasn't going to last forever. This is something that isn't exclusive to anime, as I feel this is also affecting video games, American comics, and a number of niche hobbies. Though with the amount of print media and websites either closing shop or changing their focus to lists instead of news, it is harder to find any word on what is either coming out or is currently airing. It is now more common to have someone vouch for a title for me than to discover it on my own. I even miss returning anime that I liked the previous seasons just because there is so much stuff coming out, and there aren't really any good sources to find that info anymore. Back in the day, I was a big fan of magazines and would get anything that was anime, like Anime Insider, New Type USA, even Monthly Shonen Jump would have articles about upcoming titles. We do have great anime YouTubers that cover the new seasons, but even then, it is still easy to miss. They don't always pick up in my feed like they should. When it is getting harder to find content that would connect with you, yeah, it is going to seem like there isn't any good stuff coming out. Due to this, often it is easier to see a heavier emphasis on proven titles from years past than promote a new one. Finally, there are more avenues to watch anime, but somehow it makes it even more cluttered and costly to discover new shows and even returning ones legally. Crunchyroll, Netflix, Amazon Prime, High Dive, and even Disney Plus have anime on their services, some being exclusive to their platforms. But they don't have a good way to promote them. These almost always have to rely on the remaining sources I've mentioned to be discovered. It has been famously said that a person's favorite SNL cast is usually the one they watched in high school, meaning that it is more to do when you have time to invest in viewing the entertainment when you don't have as many life commitments. I believe the same can be said about anime as well. Just look at the YouTubers The Anime Men and their divisive video, "We ranked the first episode of every year's most popular anime." Enough has been said about this, but the ones that did get love from them were the ones they originally had seen and had experience with. I don't believe this is just recency biased either, but I do feel that there was some. I think that even though they are newer, they already are associating these shows with the positive thoughts of when they first discovered them. And this nostalgification is fine, just not when you produce a video touting you reviewed the top anime of every year. Many of my favorite animes were from the period from the late 90s and early 2010s when they first aired in the US. But I know that closing myself off, I would miss stuff like Dungeon Meshi, Mob Psycho 100, and others. I may not have the same time to consume the media like I did when I was a kid, but to think the whole industry has crashed and is bad is also ignoring a lot of good work that is being done. I'm looking forward to the day when I sit down and watch Frieren. The only reason I haven't is I want to give it my full attention, and that sometimes can be hard to do with other commitments. Cough cough, 9-to-5 job. Though I also know that I'm going to go back possibly before that time and do a rewatch of Outlaw Star and Samurai Champloo. Really, I'm asking if you are one of these people that have this attitude that anime isn't the same and it was better back in my day, take a step back and ask yourself why that is. You may have a fully valid reason, or you may be a grump. I know I've had issues with the animation back when digital was taking over, and there was a time when everything looked too similar for my taste as they got used to the new tools. Also, reach out to people you trust and ask them if they're watching anything you should check out. It may not hit like your favorites, but you may discover something that wasn't on your radar. Even though they are different, I remember when I first discovered Dungeon Meshi. I really got the feeling I did when I first watched Full Metal Alchemist as a kid. I know I've joked around in my other videos and have given animes I didn't like an anime was a mistake award before, but I don't truly feel that. Sometimes when the stars align and the moon is in the right point in the sky, we can get some real art. And other times we get ones to sell toys. Thanks for listening to my video and staying to the end. Also, I want to thank all the new subscribers that have recently joined, and the previous ones as well. I had been pushing to get to 50 for a while now, and you really helped me crush that goal. My promise to all of you is that I will continue to try and make the best possible videos for you I can, and continue to grow as a creator. Finally, what is your ride or die anime? The one that no matter what, it can never be knocked down from your place on your list. Put that in the comments. I will have mine there as well. Until next time, this was the New Anime Report by Bionic Weasel.